You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? It's almost tip-off time. You got Indiana Fever and Phoenix Mercury going to tip it off. Playoff implications lining up. And it took me a moment to think about this one a little bit and what hat I wanted to use today. So Indiana Fever trying to make the playoffs. We're going to use not the Money Mike hat, the Coach Mike hat today. That's right. We're going to give you the Coach Mike hat. I saw your comments. Some of you guys said Money Mike. You're super nice. Well, there's nothing nice about Coach Mike. Coach Mike's going to tell you, you want to win the ball game tonight, you stop Alyssa Thomas. You stop Alyssa Thomas, right? So you look at it, Alyssa Thomas against the Indiana Fever has gotten played 2 games, has 20 assists, 25 rebounds. Well, 27, I think, in the rebound total. But you want to win the game tonight, you stop Alyssa Thomas. You make it to where the game itself that they're going to play is going to be so intense that you cannot win tonight's ball game unless you focus and stop Alyssa Thomas. Now, Stephanie White, can she do that? Man, we got to take another look. Why? Because what's Phoenix got going? I mean, you got to look at it. Phoenix, Satu Sabali getting 16 a game. Alyssa Thomas averaging 8.9 rebounds a game, about 9, but against the Indiana Fever, giving up 27. That's about 12 a game. Averaging about 9 assists a game against the Indiana Fever, giving up 10, 11. And that's not going back in the years. If I started adding in the years back with the sagging defense that the Indiana Fever run, matching up against Alyssa Thomas, folks. Let me put the coaching hat on this one. Let me put the coaching hat on. Indiana Fever have come up with a special defense. They think can stop Alyssa Thomas. What I've seen is averaged 10, 12 assists, 15 rebounds a game against the Fever. It's not working. Indiana Fever, if they want to win this game tonight, they're going to have to be able to put an assignment, a defensive assignment on Alyssa Thomas. Now, can Alyssa Thomas be guarded like a regular player? Because one, well, her shoulder surgeries. There's been so many excuses that have aligned with Alyssa Thomas. But here's what's happened this year. Alyssa Thomas has broke the season assist record, right? She's broke the triple-double record. When I get a player that's done all that, now I got to go in and I got to figure out how to stop that person, right? I got to figure, do the Indiana Fever, when you line up, do the Indiana Fever have anybody that can stop that person and shut them down, right? Because if they don't, that's going to be a problem. Now, you got to win the ball game. So you got Mitchell getting 20 points a game, Boston getting 8 rebounds, 3 assists, Lexio 1.2. Boston getting blocks and also steal. I got Boston rated most improved player in the WNBA. No doubt about it. But who's going to stop Alyssa Thomas? Let me tell you who my 2 players are. And I'm going to go down here deep. I'm going to go down to Timpson, right? I'm going to go down to Timpson and I'm going to go down to Brianna Turner. Now, one of the things you got to realize in basketball, this is coaching them up, right? It's not about who's the best offense. It's about who has the best defense, who can execute. I got 2 wing players, Alyssa Thomas. First of all, let me tell you the number one thing that Alyssa Thomas did something. I don't know what she did in the WNBA, but you got a lot of players who are afraid of Alyssa Thomas. I mean, they're fearing for their life, right? So you got to ask yourself, is Taj going to be able to take that, do that? I don't know. But you got 2 fresh legs, especially now. You want to talk about Timpson? Timpson could take on Alyssa Thomas' assignment. That would be the matchup that I would bring. Because this thing with Stephanie White, now you got to pencil it in and you got to stop a couple plays. You can stop Bonner easy. That's not hard stopping Bonner. In fact, Bonner's defense, whatever Bonner does, it's going to play off of it. But what the Indiana Fever have got to do is jam the lanes. Jam the lanes mean you can't let them run offense. You're going to have to be physical, which means they're going to have to earn it at the free throw line. Now, we're talking defensive strategy here, folks, so hang with me. Coach Mike coaching you up. We got to mix the matchups up because normally you're going to put a guard on Thomas. That's too easy. We want somebody big enough that can smother her, and we'll take the fouls. Here's the difference with Timpson. You've got to understand, and when you get with Turner, you got to understand we got 12 fouls to use on Alyssa Thomas. Yeah, that's 12 fouls that we're going to lose on Alyssa Thomas. We're going to use all of them. We're going to use all of them on Alyssa Thomas because Thomas They got a ranking. They want her to be the MVP. I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it. Great player, but hasn't been challenged. And I see a lot of times when she go to the hole, people are afraid of her. Nobody's put her on the deck yet. Nobody's put her on the deck. And what I mean by put her on the deck, now you're trying to make the playoffs, Indiana Fever. So now, Alyssa Thomas, you better go to that free throw line and make the free throws because we're not letting you get the shot. We're not going to foul you and give you an N1. We're not going to let you turn the corner. If we're not there on the defensive end, then we got to put you on the deck and we got to give you a hard foul, right? We're not trying to chase it around and hurt anybody. We're trying to say the object of the play is to not allow Alyssa Thomas to finish the play, right? Now, they've got other weapons over there too, but it all starts with Thomas and it ends with Thomas. And at the end of the day, you got Satu Sabali. Satu Sabali does a lot of talking, right? It's just a lot of talking. It's not more. Satu Sabali does more talking than more playing, right? So, I mean, and you got Taj, right? So when you get to Taj, and Taj has been off, guys, from a coaching perspective. I'm going to tell you, she finishes up well in the box score. There's no doubt about it. But Howard, I mean, you haven't missed a game. Durability. Can she go 24 minutes and above? No. Howard cannot go 24 minutes and above anymore. And that's going to be hard for you to dictate of what we can do. And when I go down here with Howard, here's the deal, right? 6 rebounds. You got 1.5 assists. Tonight, we need a little bit more. We're going to need some more steals. And we're going to need to get some blocks. We're going to need some blocks because to beat the Phoenix Mercury, the way you beat them is you have to get physical with them and you have to stand your ground. Now, Indiana got beat by the Vacaris, right? I mean, that's just being flat. That one there, you get off the plane, you see San Francisco, buy your souvenirs, and then you got to go play a game. And then, like the NBA, the WNBA, the NBA, the clock didn't work. Okay. Who knows? Preparation, but it didn't work. It happened. Could something funky happen in Phoenix tonight? Yes, absolutely. But that doesn't matter. There's one goal and one goal only tonight, and that's to defend the Phoenix Mercury. If you could do that, you're going to win the game, and that's the way you have to coach this team. This team is not strong enough to go out and win games offensively. And to win games tonight, you got to get to the free throw line. I do not care. I don't care if you take a 3-point shot tonight. Penetrate and get to the cup so you can get to the free throw line. That's number one. You got to run Alyssa Thomas just like a normal guard. And it doesn't matter. She can strap up her arm because that's what's been happening. Something happened with her surgeries, whatnot. But every time I see her play, I see that doesn't really bother her. So she's a regular player. And you've got to be able to take the heart away from the Phoenix Mercury. And you only can do that on the defensive end because they think they're so great offensively. When you take the Phoenix Mercury offense away, they're not very good. And the Indiana Fever are going to have to make shots, right? Because you can do it one or two ways. And this is why I want the Indiana Fever, from a coaching perspective on the defensive end, why I want you at the free throw line is because every time you get to the line, I get to set the defense. I get to set the defense while you're shooting free throws. That's a huge advantage, folks. That's why you don't want to take threes, because a lot of times those 3-point shots can go up outside of the offensive rotation of the offense. And when that happens, when a shot goes up in the offense, it's supposed to be in a time when the defense is in rotation, so it actually works. But when you take them when they're not in the offensive rotation, it's too soon a shot, nobody knows it. All of a sudden, you got nobody getting back. How do you solve that? Get to the free throw line, slow the game down, right? And then you set your defense each time down, and you make it a chess match for the Indiana Fever. Indiana Fever got to come down in offense, but they got to go way up in defense. They got to put some bodies on the deck tonight. That's a main requirement. One thing, ladies, Showtime Hoops, didn't matter if it was Gigi, it was Mimi, it was Nene, it was Deja. All my ladies knew we're going to put bodies on the floor tonight, ladies. There's going to be some bodies hit the deck. They say, Coach, let's go, right? Because they know there's two things that can't happen. You can't get screened, right? And you got to be able to play the switch. Now, here's the thing. Here's what gets me with the Fever. Whenever you run a zone, and this is coaching them up right now, whenever you run a zone, folks, a zone is really in the NBA or the W. It's a matchup zone. It's like man to man, right? But if the Fever can't play man-to-man well, then why would they play zone? Because if they don't get the man-to-man rotations, how are they going to get the zone rotation? because the man-to-man rotations are really dictated above the zone rotation. So it says where you got to leave a spot and you got to fill a spot, right? So if you leave a spot, fill a spot, you got to get there. What do the Fever got to quit being lazy about? Boston, Natasha Howard, just laziness, giving up 3-point shots. We don't realize it, but you ladies are giving up a lot of buckets. And I don't know if that's been addressed. A lot of buckets when I see the 4 and the 5 position for the Indiana Fever are giving up the majority of 3-point shots. That shouldn't happen, right? And you can't really, you're wondering this, and why can't I play Timpson? Shouldn't have enough spirits to read the defense. That's where Caitlin is miles ahead, because Caitlin, every time down, she's reading the offense, so knows where I need to be. I don't really need to guard my man when I know you're running this play. I've seen you do it on film, right? You should be able to look at film and see what the offense is doing. Then you can dictate what you're going to get. Now, the Fever are getting a lot of steals, a lot of traps, 50-50 balls because they're in the rotation, then that's where the ball is. Normally, they just be with their man. But now they got to step it up a notch. They've had a day of practice, and it's really not practice, folks. Most of the time, the NBA guys or college teams, you're in the hotel, they'll get the ballroom, right? You get the ballroom. You can do whatever you need to do in the ballroom, just like you're on the court, draw a court out there. Because all you could do is walk through, because you can't really practice. And here's why. Because nobody has any legs. Everybody's got a tear or issue, some real pain somewhere. So everything's like about get some therapy and let's go out here and play. Will the Indiana Fever make the playoffs? Yes. Do I feel the WNBA officials are going to call it so they do? Yes. Will it be called all the way right? No. Okay, but the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White, needs to win the game. It's no excuse. They do not need to sag off of DeWanna Bonner. They do not need to sag off of Alyssa Thomas, and they do not need to have Boston guarding Alyssa Thomas. If you see any of that, then you know it's an automatic loss. If you see us sagging back against Alyssa Thomas, you know it's an automatic loss. These things, I told you, they could fix the game last time. They don't hope they get the correction and don't do the same thing. If the Indiana Fever do the same thing against the Phoenix Mercury tonight, then it's going to show you they fixed to lose this game. If the Indiana Fever makes some adjustments from the last game, then they're fixing to try to win the game. That's what I'll be watching out for tonight. This today was a little Coach Mike, a little rant, not very much. I know you guys are saying I'm too nice, but it needs to be stepped up. Now, Stephanie White, I'll tell you what, in this short amount of time, she can put herself on the hot seat or take herself off the hot seat. This is how this thing swings, because now it's real deal. Either you're winning or you're losing, and it's not the talent, right? It's not the talent that's causing you to lose. It's because the execution is not being designed. That could be a challenge. Does it happen tonight for the Indiana Fever? If they change and become the defensive champion, they win the ballgame. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. All things are possible to those who believe.